English Studies, Wikipedia Audio. English Studies is an academic discipline taught in primary, secondary, and post-secondary education in English-speaking countries. It is not to be confused with English taught as a foreign language, which is a distinct discipline. English includes the study of literature written in the English language, the majority of which comes from Britain, the United States, and Ireland, English composition, including writing essays, short stories, and poetry, English language arts, including the study of grammar, usage, and style, and English sociolinguistics, including discourse analysis of written and spoken texts in the English language, the history of the English language learning and teaching, and the study of World Englishes. English linguistics is usually treated as a distinct discipline, taught in a department of linguistics. The disciplinary divide between a dominant literature or usage orientation is one motivation for the division of the North American Modern Language Association into two subgroups. At universities in non-English speaking countries, the same department often covers all aspects of English studies, including linguistics. This is reflected, for example, in the structure and activities of the European Society for the Study of English. It is common for departments of English to offer courses and scholarship in the areas of the English language, literature, public speaking, and speech writing, rhetoric, composition studies, creative writing, philology and etymology, journalism, poetry, publishing, literacy, area studies, the philosophy of language, theater and playwriting, screenwriting, communication studies, technical communication, cultural studies, critical theory, gender studies, ethnic studies, disability studies, digital media and electronic publishing, film studies and other media studies, and various courses in the liberal arts and humanities, among others. In most English-speaking countries, the study at all educational levels of texts produced in non-English languages takes place in other departments, such as departments of foreign language or of comparative literature. Fields. See also literature and linguistics, along with list of academic disciplines. The English major is a term in the United States and a few other countries for an undergraduate university degree focused around the consumption, analysis, and production of texts in the English language. The term may also be used to describe a student who is pursuing such a degree. English linguistics, English sociolinguistics, discourse analysis in English, English stylistics, World Englishes, history of the English language, composition studies, rhetoric, technical communication, English language learning and teaching, English literature, American literature, including African American literature, Jewish American literature, Southern literature. Students who major in English reflect upon, analyze, and interpret literature and film, presenting their analyses in clear, cogent writing. Although help-wanted postings rarely solicit English majors specifically, a degree in English hones critical thinking skills essential to a number of career fields, including writing, editing, publishing, teaching and research, advertising, public relations, law, and finance. The history of English studies at the modern university in Europe and America begins in the second half of the 19th century. Initially, English studies comprised a motley array of content: the practice of oratory, the study of rhetoric and grammar, the composition of poetry, and the appreciation of literature. In Germany and several other European countries, English philology, a strongly positivistic and historically interested practice of reading pre-modern texts, became the preferred scholarly paradigm, but English-speaking countries distanced themselves from philological paradigms soon after World War I. At the end of this process, English departments tended to refocus their work on various forms of writing instruction and the interpreting of literary texts, and teacher education in English recovered from the neglect it had suffered because of more science-oriented paradigms. Today, English departments in native-speaking countries re-evaluate their roles as sole guardians of the discipline because English is less and less native speakers' unique property and has to be shared with the millions of speakers and writers from other countries for whom English is an essential means of communication and artistic expression. English literature became an object of study in French universities as part of foreign literature in the 19th century. A chair of foreign literature was established in Paris in 1830. English was first taught independently from other languages and literature in the University of Lille and in the University of Lyons and only afterwards in the Sorbonne. These three universities were the first major centers of English studies in France. The first lecturer and later professor of English studies would seem to have been Auguste Angelier. After spending several years teaching French in England in the 1860s and 1870s, he became a lecturer in English studies in the University of Lille in 1881 and a professor of English in 1893. In France nowadays, literature, civilization, linguistics and the spoken and written language are all important in English studies in universities. The English major rose into prominence in American colleges shortly after the introduction of the electives system. It provided an opportunity for students to develop skills in analytical reading with the aim of improving their writing, as well as exercises in rhetoric and persuasive expression that had been traditionally only taught in classical studies and available to the very few due to language barriers and a shortage of professors who could actively engage students in the humanities. Outside the United States, the English major became popular in the latter half of the 19th century during a time when religious beliefs were shaken in the face of scientific discoveries. Literature was thought to act as a replacement for religion in the retention and advancement of culture, and the English major thus provided students with the chance to draw moral, ethical, and philosophical qualities and meanings of older studies from a richer and broader source of literature than that of the ancient Greek and Latin classics. Since 2000, there have been more and more questions about the specific function of English departments at the contemporary U.S. college and university. The absence of a clearly defined disciplinary identity and the increasingly utilitarian goals in U.S. society present a challenge to those academic units still mostly focusing on the printed book and the traditional division in historical periods and national literatures, and neglecting allegedly non-theoretical areas such as professional writing, composition, and multimodal communication. In the past, an academic degree in English usually meant an intensive study of British and American literary masterpieces. Now, however, an English major encompasses a much broader range of topics which stretch over multiple disciplines. While the requirements for an English major vary from university to university, most English departments emphasize three core skills: analyzing literature, a process which requires logic and reflective analysis, creativity and imagination with regards to the production of good writing, and an understanding of different cultures, civilizations, and literary styles from various time periods. The skills gained from studying English include acquiring tools that will never lose value, understanding the ever-changing media, to explain your own world, and more. Prospective English majors can expect to take college courses in academic writing, creative writing, literary theory, British and American literature, multicultural literature, several literary genres, and a number of elective multidisciplinary topics such as history, courses in the social sciences, and studies in a foreign language. To the end of studying these disciplines, candidates for a major in English attain skills in professional writing with relations to rhetoric, literary analysis, an appreciation for the diversity of cultures, and an ability to clearly and persuasively express their ideas in writing. Most English courses fall into the broader categories of either literature-based studies, which focus on classical authors and time periods, or rhetorical studies, which concentrate on communication skills in preparation for specialization in a variety of professional fields. While specific graduation requirements vary from university to university, students can expect to study some of the following courses. English major. Courses in writing and composition, such as academic and professional writing, which stress analytical writing and train students to produce clear, cohesive arguments. Courses in British literature. Courses may focus on time periods, authors, genres, or literary movements. Examples include Shakespeare's tragedies, history and theory of British drama, medieval English literature, and the Victorian novel. Courses in American literature. Depending upon the university, these courses can either be broken down by time period, such as 19th century Gothic fiction, authors, such as classes on Hawthorne, Hemingway, or Frost, or literary schools and movements, such as naturalism or transcendentalism. Courses in multicultural literature. The value of bringing a range of cultural and multidisciplinary perspectives to the study of English literature is being increasingly recognized in a number of universities. Examples include multicultural literatures in medieval England, Latina narratives, and studies in Jewish literature. Rhetorical courses focus on techniques of persuasive arguing in the written form, as well as skills which involve the analysis of written texts. A major in English opens a variety of career opportunities for college graduates entering the job market. Since students who graduate with an English degree are trained to ask probing questions about large bodies of texts and then to formulate, analyze, and answer those questions in coherent, persuasive prose. Skills vital to any number of careers. English majors have much to choose from after graduation. The most obvious career choices for English majors are writing, publishing, journalism, and teaching. However, other less intuitive job options include positions in advertising, public relations, acting, law, business, marketing, and directing. History. Skills acquired. Examples of courses. Career opportunities.